How do you define creator?
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
But yeah, basically, like I said yesterday, it's like a conversation between creatives, kind of picking your brain, seeing like how you came up, like your methods, your style, like even the business aspect and like balancing work, life, like all those things that we all kind of have problems with or issues, and then we figure it out as we're going. But I like to always start the conversation by asking, like, how would you introduce yourself to me if I just met you?
Hi, I'm Guillermo Marcelino Luis Alfonso Rodriguez Hernandez Garcia III Jr. Nice to meet you. My friends call me Soflaa. I am an avid filmmaker. I like long walks on the beach at sunset and romantic dinners at the Waffle House.
That might have been the best answer.
I think that would be my introduction. That should be like on my tombstone.
That's perfect. Where did the name Soflaa come from?
Soflaa is short for South Florida. And there was a time where I moved around a lot as a teenager. I was in the streets, so spent a little bit of time in North Miami. I spent some time down south, moved to Hollywood. I was in Lauderdale for a little bit, came back to Alapata, which is where I'm originally from, like the Northwest area. So just because of that, like Soflaa. And then at the time I was making music, I had a group. And we thought of this like name for a mixtape series, and it was called the Soflaa Kings, the South Florida Kings, because we were dropping these mixtapes. So like the whole thing was like we had these 3 different mixtapes, and one came out in Broward, one came out in Dade, and one came out in Palm Beach. So if you had the red one, we knew that you got it in Palm Beach. If you had the blue one, we knew you got it in Dade or whatever it was. And that's how like that name started to get popular because of the mixtape series. I came up with the name, we started the mixtape, and then eventually people just started calling me that. It just became where that became my name. But really it wasn't my name. It was just like my friends.
Crew.
Yeah.
That's crazy because I was actually telling these guys that when I met you, I'm like, man, this guy looks familiar, but I can't put a pin on it. Like I don't know where I know him from. And then I'm like, oh, Soflaa. And then someone said Soflaa Kings.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. That's like old school Miami, like, when Pitt was coming up.
Yes.
And like I used to do street team for Pitt back in the day, like under Teach and stuff.
Perfect. So you got to know of us.
So I would run into you guys and like, everybody else coming up, like the Cubos and like all that stuff. And I would like, I probably might have passed out some of your stuff at one point. Just, they gave us whatever material and go to the TJ Uncle Al Festival and like, pass these out.
Yeah.
But I was like, he used to have huge braids or dreads.
Yep.
And then I'm like, that's what it was. I
had
couldn't.
dreads. I used to ride around in a dong, a mouthful of gold teeth.
Dade County
For real. AP all day. And that's what we used to do, bro. You mentioned Teach and Pitt and all these guys. Like, that was a whole different era of Miami and the Miami music scene. Like, I love what it's become. I really do. There's a lot of new stuff that I like and everything, but for me, those were like the golden years of Miami.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like everybody was coming up. Like I remember, man, opening up for Ross. I remember opening up for Ross before he had Hustlin'.
Yeah.
And me, Soflaa Kings, the guys, Frankie Bravo, Rock Bottom, all those guys. We were in Palm Beach and we were opening up for Rick Ross, and we got the crowd crunk. Like we just had it popping because we spoke Spanish and we were doing a little bit of reggaeton. We would do the hip hop. And then when we got off stage, the crowd started leaving. And Ross came up to us and was like, Chico, you can't do that to me. You got to come back. You got to come back and please stay here and stay in the crowd. And we ended up staying actually in the crowd while Ross and his guys and the Triple C's were performing. And we got a crunk from some. Yeah, bro, like I got history in that side.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I feel like back then there was like the energy of like most... Like all these guys, they weren't really known outside of Miami, but like you would see all of you guys in everyone's video.
Yes.
And it was always like at least 30 heads in like the one artist's video. And like everyone would like kind of cross, like promote or not promote, but just always show love and be in each other's projects and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It's been great to watch everybody just come up and evolve and turn into, whatever they were going to turn into. I got songs with Garcia, who's and Crazy Hood, and like, yo, look at EFN where he's
Yeah.
at. Like, it's amazing. Look, like my dog Garcia's like amazing
Yeah.
director. Like, you know, and like just to see everybody just kind of come up and just flourish and evolve.
You think like not starting off as an artist, but like being an artist back in the day kind of is what led to like that creative brain of like, you know, maybe it led into film or, you know, other things, but it was kind of like where that switch went off where like, oh, I can kind of do other things.
When
Like-
I was a kid, I drew, right? So I would draw a lot, and then as I got older and I got into graffiti, I started doing graffiti. So I was in GOK crew, Miami Graffiti Crew, which was underneath Dam Crew. So if you know about Miami Graffiti, you know about Dam Crew. I was in GOK, which was like Baby Dam, and I think I started really really there, and then at some point, like I think I realized with creativity that just like anything, creativity is ultimately about like freedom and evolution, right? And I've always wanted to be free. And like if there's just one thing like you could really say about me is that I'm creatively I'm free. I really do whatever I want to do at the moment, right? So like it was easy for me to evolve from like graffiti, which I was expressing myself, to then saying, yo, I wanna start rapping. I started rapping in high school, and that was just another expression. And then I did b-boy, and I was like another expression for me. And then eventually I got tired of hiring guys to do my music videos, and I was like, I'm gonna do my own music videos. And then I was like, yo, fuck music. I just want to do videos now. And then I realized, fuck videos. I want to make movies, right? So like for me, it's just been this, I don't know, constant evolution. And I think that's where, to me, that's where true creativity lies, is in the freedom to evolve and to be whatever it is you're supposed to be.
I love that, bro. I think like a lot of people struggle with that, even myself, like, and I can relate with that, where it's you like always put your creativity and your energy into one space, into one medium, but you're always like kind of think, oh, I gotta focus this way because like that's how I'm gonna be successful if I like put everything into this. But then sometimes it becomes a job, or like you not that you lose interest, but you're like, oh, I want to explore this. I want to mess around with this. I want to make my own videos. But like at least for me, or when I was younger, I was like, no. Like I gotta stick to this, and I'll let the professionals do that. But then it's like you feel like almost not free. Like it's just something that you want to do, but you tell yourself like, no. Like I don't really know about that. Let me not do it. But I think that's so important. Like some people just work like that. Where like, yo, I just want to draw. Now I want to do graffiti. Now I want to do videos. Now I want to rap. Like,
Yeah.
because it kind of gives you more energy into your other stuff because you're like freely doing what you want.
Agreed. And also, I don't know, man, like everybody's definition of success could be different, right? Like I know guys that do exactly what I do, and their definition of success is having, 10 clients on $15,000 a month retainers, and they got 8 video guys working, and they don't have a life. And that's cool. That might be success, bro. You just made $500,000 this year in your video business, and that's great, bro. That's success to you. But to me, success is not money. Money has something to do with it. Of course, I want certain things in life, but to me, success is freedom, being able to really do what I want. I have kids. I have to set an example for them. And that's probably the biggest example that I set for my children is like, yo, watch me. Like, watch me grind. Watch me how I do things, because I'm always happy, right? I'm always happy with myself. I'm not a depressed person. I don't go through, those ups and downs of severe depression where you don't know what's going to happen next. Like, yo, I'm happy. I'm happy with all my decisions. I'm happy with everything I did. And it's only because I've been able to be fluid in creativity. I got this thing that I believe wholeheartedly. And I believe that when you're creative, right, the medium that you choose to use is irrelevant. Now think about that for a second, right? I'm a true creative. I drew, I did graffiti, I rapped, I do film. I can do anything because I'm a creative. I open my refrigerator right now at home, and I can look at the ingredients and be like, oh, okay, cool. I could take those pork chops. I could take a little bit of the kids' applesauce. After I fry up the pork chops, I could put some applesauce on it. Oh, what is that? Kale? Feta cheese? Okay, cool. I'll throw a little feta on the kale. Like, I can taste it. I can see it. I feel like I'm the true definition of a creator because I'm a creative, and I can, and that was like lunch yesterday or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's how I view it. And it's the same thing with like now you've seen me work a little bit, you know, on my shoots. Like everything that you've seen me do, I was fucking smoking a joint at my house and I had an aha moment. Oh shit, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I go and I do it.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. There's something fucking liberating about that.
Nah, 100%.
And don't get me wrong. Like, okay, I sacrificed that a little bit in the sense of what another person would think is typical success or whatever. But I don't know, bro. A todo mundo le toca. Right? I just gotta keep doing what I'm doing, man.
It's all perspective, bro. And I think we talk about this a lot on the podcast where like, oh, how do you, you know, are you at a point where you should scale your business, or like what does that look like, or do you want to, or like, you know, even when you crunch the X's and O's and the numbers, and it's like you said exactly, like, yeah, you can have 10 people under you doing what you do and make XYZ amount, but then you don't take into account that now you have a lot more headache because you're dealing with 10 people or 5 people that like you kind of got to oversee, and then also they have their own lives with families, problems,
their situations,
and then now you're also, you know, kind of biting into your revenue because you got to pay them, and then on top of everything, the most important shit, like now you're not really creating, you're like a CEO or like an owner, and you're like giving notes, and it's like, yeah, you could get to that next level, but bro, I know people, like you said, like even yourself, like they're a one-man show, or that, you know, they obviously you have a team that helps you for certain things, but they're happy, bro. And it's like you almost, if you account everything, you're almost making almost the same amount of money, but you're happy. So then really in the result, you might have bigger opportunities and like more success because like you're loving what you're doing. You're not like chasing a dollar, which
exactly
a lot of people have to for, you know, circumstances. But bro, like, and especially the last couple of years having a daughter myself, I've been like, yo, how can I always be like water, like Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Like I want to be fluid. I want to flow. Like I don't want to be, I have to do this. Because then that's when I start getting like,
well, it becomes a job at that point, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and like I left a 6-figure job that I had. I worked for 9 years at 10 years almost at Turkey Point Nuclear Power Plant.
Wow.
Right? I was a scaffold foreman, supervisor, whatever down there. And like, yo, I worked inside of a nuclear power plant, bro. I was around a nuclear reactor. I had to, you know, do paperwork and deal with radiation patrol and all kinds of shit. And like, bro, like when I tell you I was making good 6 figures, bro, I was so happy money-wise, right?
Yeah.
But I was so miserable because I didn't have a life. I had no life, bro. Like my daughter had just been born. I think my top week hour-wise, I think I put in 98 hours in 1 week. Yo, and that check was, you know, bussing. But man, I had no life. I had no nothing. And then I always knew I wanted to go back to video, right? I had done this music shit. You know, getting a job, it kind of like turned me off to creativity for a couple years in the sense I just wanted money. And I became money orientated. And here I was, you know, I had plenty of money in the bank, just bought a house, just had a baby girl, and I was fucking miserable, bro. I really, really fucking was. And the best thing that ever happened to me was getting fired from that fucking job.
Wow.
They laid me off. And in the union, you get laid. You know that you're working to work yourself out of a job eventually, right? Once the project's complete, you get laid off, you go to the next one.
Yeah.
Well, I've been there so many years, and they laid me off right around Christmas time.
Wow.
I have a newborn son, just less than a year old. My daughter's 2 years old, and they laid me off like Tuesday, December 17th or some shit like that. Like a few days before Christmas. And everybody knew I was getting laid off. Nobody told me shit, which you know, whatever, right? But like you can feel it in the air. They call you upstairs, they lay you off, and the boss tells me, you know, he's like, hey, bro, you gonna be all right? And that for me was like a turning point. Because here I am, I just gave you 10 years of my fucking life, bro, like in dangerous situations, 96 hours a week, whatever. And you're asking me if I'm going to be all right because you're laying me off a week before Christmas with 2 kids at the house. And I was like, this This is what I needed. And that was like on a Tuesday. And I had my first job like Friday night. I was filming like a recap for like a club.
Wow.
And I took it. And it sucked. And I was taking those little $100 jobs, those $200 jobs from making 6 figures a year. Y me lo jamé. I put the computer in the dining room. I woke up in the middle of the night. I took care of the baby when I needed to take care of the baby. I went back to editing. I started shooting weddings because fuck it, I need money.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm so glad that I did all that escuelita. I'm so glad. I'm so glad because right now, like, I have a viable business. I get hired because of who I am solely, right? People don't hire me because of a brand per se. I didn't build a company. I built myself.
You are the brand.
I am the brand. And some people might disagree with that, but honestly, I don't really care. It keeps me fluid. I'm the brand. If I decide right now that I don't want to make videos no more, I'm going to know how to make videos forever. I can decide tomorrow I want to sell real estate, and I'll just start making real estate videos and start selling houses.
I think that's super important, bro. Like, cause you're almost, if you build yourself up as a person and like you have these skills, and the last couple of years, I feel that like exactly what you said. Like sometimes I think about that. I'm like, bro, if I was a real estate agent, I'd probably kill it. But like I don't like that shit. But like I have all these skills that like now I can kind of do anything because I have a reputation and because I know what to do or who to hit up to get what I want done.
Right.
Whereas like if you build a business or even bro like working 98 hours for somebody else and then you get nothing out of it. That's like, to me, I look at every situation like, bro, imagine putting in 10 years, you're making hella money, but then you leave and like you don't like that, like now that doesn't exist.
No, and the best part was they kept calling me back. 3 months later, they did call me to come back. That was in 2018. They stopped calling me last year, but they kept calling.
Wow.
Hey, you want to come back? You want to do an outage? It's only 60 days. We'll pay you tanto. We'll give you this position or whatever. And it was like, I can't do it, bro. I live in this world of collaboration and freedom where I'm so happy. And that's one of those things that I notice about like having that corporate America kind of job, you know. Dude, I worked at a nuclear power plant and nobody wants to fucking collaborate. Right? Like you
can't, right?
You'd be surprised. Well, no, you'd be surprised. Like if I have a solution to this problem, I can't share it with you because you're probably going to steal my solution so that you can go present it and you get a raise. It's like very cutthroat. Yeah. That's where that comes from, right? Like
100%.
People just want to be cutthroat and get that money and keep their job. And there was a lot of times that I would make older supervisors worried. Of course I would make them worried. I know how to use a computer. I know how to do things faster. I can, right? But they've been doing it for 40 years. They're going to keep their job on lock. And all these things were just like sign after sign of like, bro, listen, like if you're going to go do that and be fucking miserable, but I said go be miserable by yourself.
Like 96 hours for your business.
You know? Yeah. And you know what? I've had my ups, which have been amazing. And I've had my downs. There's times that I've thought about it. And I said, damn, should I go back? Coño, it's only 30 days, 60 days. But then I think about it, I say, damn, those 30 days, 60 days will probably diminish years of building my brand, building myself up, building my brand.
And as soon as you fucking clock in and sit down, you're going to regret it instantly.
I can't do it.
And you let yourself down.
Prefiero estar solo que mal acompañado, papi. Olvídate.
Yeah.
I can't do it, bro.
But I mean, I think that's like something that people battle with of like, how do you make that jump into starting your own? Because also, which I love that you're very like, you pretty much taught yourself, right?
Yeah.
From day one of everything that you started.
School of YouTube, right?
School of YouTube. So like, do you think that has something to do with your success? Because I feel like people like you and even myself, you're almost a little, I guess the word is naive or oblivious to like, oh, you're supposed to do it like this, or like, now you got to like do it like that because that's, people go to school for this or whatever. You're just like, nah, I'm going to figure it out. And you just jump in and you're like not worried about that.
I guess I've never heard it. No, I don't worry about it, but I've never heard it kind of referred to as naive. And I guess it could be, I I'm gonna sound crazy, but I love the fucking feeling of jumping out of an airplane every day with no parachute on. It's exciting. You don't know if you're gonna land on the roof of the Empire State Building or you're gonna land in the Hudson River, right? But either way, I got good shoes on and I can land and I know how to swim in case I fall in the river. So no me va a pasar nada. I just gotta figure it out. And I know that that's a very loose way of saying it. And it sounds almost crazy. But in reality, that's what entrepreneurship is, right? Like, you don't know what's going to happen today.
And anyone that says they do and they're lying, bro.
Well, you know, okay, I get it. Si tú vende jabón and your jabóns are at Navarro Farmacia discount, right? And you're going to sell 100 jabóns a week. I get it. Great. I don't know. 100 jabóns a week is not, to me, it's not life. It's not business, right? I'd rather create. So when you create, you can't depend on the 100 jabóns, right? Like,
right.
You have to figure that part out.
Yeah, and it's coming from your brain, so it's not like tangible product. It's like, like you said, I'm putting on a parachute and jumping out every day, creating something. Let's see what happens. Like, hopefully it hits, or hopefully, you know, I get an opportunity, or that thing goes through. But I think the more and more you do it, it's like, oh, this is I like this.
And I've learned not to like get like religious type shit or nothing, right? But like I've also learned, bro, that like en realidad, bro, like God, the universe, Allah, Jesus, whoever you want to call him. Bro, I don't know. Doesn't shit always work out, bro? I know that I'm not unique in that sense because I've always thought I must be unique, right? Like everything just happens to work out for me. Nah, bro. Everything works out for everybody a lot of times. There's a lot of us. It just works out. I'm sure you've had your moments where you're not even sure how you're going to pay the fucking rent. You know, the rent's coming up in 2 weeks. How am I going to pay rent? And boom, de repente te cae algo. And you say, gracias, papacito, gracias, universe. But whoever, whatever you want to call it, bro, like, it's always there. And I think that if you are doing things with integrity and you're moving through life in a certain way, that bounce board is always there for you. I think it's when you stop moving like that eso se te quita. It's not there for you no more.
Yeah, and it's like a mindset shift of, like you said, where if you start stressing and you start being like, bro, how am I gonna pay that rent? Or like, damn, I lost that to this person and I should have. Then you kind of live in that like, damn, I'm not good enough, or fuck that person for doing that. Instead of like, man, you know what? It's not that big a deal. Like it always comes through.
And that same energy que tú estás gastando worrying, okay, imagine if you spent that same energy on finding a solution.
Exactly.
Like recently I had a few of my retainer clients that, you know, needed a break. They've been with me for months and they needed a break. You know, I just lost, you know, a big chunk of my monthly, right? Wife's like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do? Like, wife starts to worry a little bit more. Where me, I'm like, I don't worry. Eso me cayeron igual como lo voy a coger los próximos. Right? The same way I found these clients, I find my next clients. And I'm not worried about it. I didn't lose the clients. It's not like something crazy happened, right? We're just taking a break. Summertime's usually a little slow for guys like me, in general. But, you know, God got me, bro, because that happened. And like 2 weeks later, I filled one of the retainer spots, and now the other spot I haven't filled it, but like I've gotten enough jobs that covered that spot.
Yeah.
And honestly, todos estos jobs me cayeron del cielo, because I'm not one of those guys on Instagram that you see advertising, hey, hit me up, I'm the videographer you need, bro. Like, that's not me, bro. I'm a sniper. I'm a specialist. You call me for certain shit. I travel the world with certain influencers. I film certain types of things. I do niche stuff, right? Like I don't call me for whatever. And I think that right there just kind of like all that combined just keeps me not worrying about shit. Because I'm like, yo, I got a skill level that there's no robot that's gonna learn how to do what I do.
Yeah. Well, how do you kind of like balance the, you know, like I'm not gonna worry about it. It's gonna fall in my lap. I just gotta, with like, okay, I gotta either give a little bit of not putting yourself out there, but like, you know, like promotion in a sense, like social media or whatever that is, like hitting people up, following up, like, cause I'm very like, I won't hit up anyone for nothing.
Oh, so that's
Like, you know, I'm not gonna be like, hey man, like,
quiet mouths don't get fed.
right. So I gotta figure that, like, okay, what's my way of doing that? Is it like through Instagram by like an indirect, like, you know, I always tell people this is my way of like promoting myself indirectly. 'Cause
Right.
I just want to have a conversation, but then, you know, people figure out what we're doing and how we move and all that, and then naturally it'll come. But like, how do you kind of like, what's your method, or do you even have one?
Bro, I do. And there's definitely a method to my madness, and like when other, you know, videographers and filmmakers talk to me about stuff, like, is what I say, bro. Like, if you don't feel comfortable getting in front of the camera and selling yourself as this videographer, which I don't, right? I don't want to go up there and say, hey, hire me, right? I want to let my work speak for itself. That's just how I operate. But since I don't do that, what I do is I make sure that I hunt the prospects that I'm looking for and that I bring value. I'll explain. I do a lot of, I don't know, landscaping stuff for different companies, realtors, landscaping, shit like that. If there's a company that I see their content and then I kind of like it, I might do my research on that company. And I might go on their website and look and be like, oh, wow, look, they don't got no pictures. They don't have no opening video. I go on their Instagram. They don't have this, that, and the third. Well, I can hit up that landscaping company. I could just write to them and be like, look, this is what I do. This is what I specialize in. I looked at your page. This is where you're deficient. You're missing stuff. This is what I've done for other companies, XYZ. And bro, they hire me. So I'll actively seek and hunt, but I also do my homework and I'm looking for ways to add value. If your content is already top notch, I'm probably not gonna hit you up, bro. Right? Like, what can I offer you at this point? I'm top notch too. So I'm looking for companies, brands that are wanting to go top notch, right? So it's weird, but like I'm hunting, I'm prospecting all the time. That's what I do. And then a lot of times when I'm on a job, and for example, recently in LA, I shot a job, and some of the guys that were there had seen me on previous jobs, and boom, they're coming in September, and boom, I got a job with them in September, right? So it's like this combination, it's like this web.
Yeah.
But I think the only way that it works is that I got a clean face, right? Like, I'm not crazy. I don't be showing up late to my jobs. I say what I do what I say. Like, everything's with integrity about me. And like, you'll notice, like, I'll say that shit a lot. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, I feel like integrity is everything. The biggest problem with any business owner, any entrepreneur, is not keeping their word and doing what they say, right? So I look at it like, I got to do what the fuck I say. If you hire me for $10 and you're supposed to have your video in 10 hours, homie, I'm going to give you that video. Like, it's an important thing for me. I don't care what I'm going through at home or what's happening. I don't care. Like, I have to do it, right? I'm not just chilling at the crib on the computer. This is important to me. This is my lifeline. So yeah. I don't know. Like, that's my balance. I treat everything seriously. I do everything with integrity, and I do everything with transparency. Everything, right? If you call me and you're like, yo, I got $10 and I need a video in 10 hours, I'm like, yo, I'm sorry. I can't do that for you. But if we meet here and we give us this much time, I can make it happen for you. And bro, more often than not, just my transparency saves me a ton of headaches and lands me the jobs, because I'm realistic about what I can and can't do.
Yeah.
And I think it helps.
Nah, your reputation is everything, especially in Miami. I feel like a lot of people say they can do something and then they kind of like either don't do it, or they kind of like last minute put it together, or they just ghost you, or like.
Bro, I hire videographers and content creators. I hire them all the time to do shit. Bro, nobody takes their job seriously, bro. Yeah. Very few people take their job seriously. A lot of people and show up late, don't do stuff.
And like, it's interesting because there's like,
in front of the client, like, it's retarded, bro.
There's people that are very talented, especially in Miami, but there's also like this in like, I've noticed over the years of doing different type of businesses that like there's such an opportunity, your work has to be good always to back it up. But like, bro, if you're just professional, which should be common sense, professional, reliable, consistent, on time, like, you know, you conduct yourself a certain way and you say what you're gonna do, like you said, bro, you'll get hired 9 out of 10 times in anything you're doing.
I can't tell you how many times I've landed jobs that some of you guys out there have fumbled. I can't tell you how many times. When I tell you it's a regular thing, all because a videographer, whatever you want to call them, just fumbles the bag, bro. Can't turn in what they turn in. That's cool. I'm a little more expensive anyways. And I get the job, bro. And it happens all the time.
Usually, yeah, people, they find out the hard way. I forgot the saying, maybe you know it, but it's like when you go the cheap way, you end up being more expensive because then you got to find the solution, and the solution is always the person.
Cheap isn't always good, and good isn't always cheap, you know?
Exactly. But how do you kind of, because you said you're like a sniper when coming to, you know, prospective clients, but how do you manage your retainer clients and like your business with like the stuff that you want to do, like your passion projects? Like I know you were telling us the other day about that story of the fighter's kid that was diagnosed with cancer. Like it's something that, you know, you're passionate about, but it's not necessarily a monetary thing.
I didn't become a filmmaker, a creator, right? Let me put it like this. I didn't become a creator to create for other people all the time. Because if that's the case, then all I did was get a job. I left my job to become a real creator. So how do I find the balance in there is, and I'm just keeping it 100, bro. I do enough jobs to take care of what I need to take care of at home. I'd rather spend my free time working on my passion projects than chasing more money. I feel like chasing more money is never gonna make me happy, right? If I just continue to chase it all the time, like I'm never gonna be happy. Even if I get to $1 billion, right? I'm gonna want more.
There's always more.
I've never known anybody that hit these heights and didn't want more, right? So I don't know, just knowing that, like I don't get me wrong, because I don't want it to come across like, oh, you know, F them. No, bro, like I make money and I gotta do what I gotta do, right? Like 100%. I have to, right? But I do it in a way where like I basically buy myself time to work on my other projects. You know, and am I always working on a passion project? Not always, but I always got something going on and something that I want to put my heart and soul into. You know, so, you know, you mentioned my boy Yuli, the bare knuckle fighter. He has a son that recently went through chemo and beat cancer. And like, yo, that's my homeboy. That's like one of my best friends. And, you know, he invited me to come see Junior. I brought the camera with me. It was on his last day of chemo. And I just captured this amazing 45-minute conversation with a 10-year-old kid, you know, who's getting chemo. And it was just mind-blowing to me, like the conversation I had with the kid. And when I went home, like that was God talking, right? The universe, God, Allah, whatever you want to call him, it was talking to me. And saying, yo, you got to do something with this. This isn't about accolades, money. This isn't about anything. This is about like, yo, you can help somebody with this kid's words. Look what this kid just said. And I immediately, you know, locked in. And when I lock in, the wife hates it sometimes, bro, because I don't leave the office, but I locked in and I started getting footage and gathering and bro, like, I don't know, like 2 weeks later, I come out of the office and that's what I have. And I show it to, you know, Yuli, me and him fucking cry. You know, DJ Laz calls me crying, damn, motherfucker, I can't believe you did that shit. Like, Yuli's best friends with Pitt. Pitt saw it, Pitt cried. Like, yo, it's nuts. Like, and I knew I had something, right? Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, I got something kind of cool here. The idea is what I thought it was. And this movie, it's Junior's story and how he beats, you know, cancer. It's called Never Give Up. But the truth is, like, this is not for me. I directed it, I put it together, I did, but this is not for me. This is not even for Junior, right? Like, this is for somebody else. There's gonna be another family that's going through this where their child's, you know, in oncology, and they're gonna watch this movie and it's gonna give them hope, and it's gonna give them motivation, and if it happens one time, all that time I spent in front of the computer making this movie for you, like, cool, that was my payment. That's my payment. And like, that's how I look at it. And like, I think that's what I'm trying to get at, that like, I really love what I do, and I really am passionate about telling these stories and doing things a certain way, because, you know, all of us talk about legacy all the time. You know, this is my legacy. When I'm dead and gone and you want to know more about me, look at the stories that I created, look at the documentaries that I shot, look at the videos that I did, and you can have a pretty good depiction of my life. And I think my life is dope, bro.
I agree.
I really do, bro.
And it's funny because you said like you gotta allow time for that space to like work on things that you love or that just like touch your soul, that you need to like start creating. But like if you were so focused on the dollar amount or chasing the next check, you would have not had the time or the ability to like, oh, let me go visit my boy, let me go see what's up, let me take a camera. Like you wouldn't have been in that mindset. You would have just been like, oh, okay, like yeah, like, you know.
And also like that moment right there, like as a cameraman, like, bro, there's these moments that happen all the time where it's like very special moments. And like, for example, that day, I brought everything with me. I had tripod, gimbal, lights, I had everything. And when I got to the hospital, I was like, nah, I ain't gonna go in there with all that shit. Like, I felt weird, me acomplejé.
Yeah.
I'm usually not an acomplejado person. I grabbed the camera, I just put the mic on. I'm like, bro, you know what? I'm just gonna bring it handheld. I have no expectations. I don't really know. And then I'm walking through this children's hospital, and you're hearing the beeps. You're hearing the kids on wheelchairs. Like, you know, they don't have hair. Some of them, like yo, like the shit really like hit me right there. So before I made the movie, I was already being changed, bro. Because I've never walked through an oncology department. I didn't even know what oncology was. I thought it was just cancer, but no, that's what it's called, oncology, right? So like I'm walking through the shit, like I'm seeing this, and I'm going to go visit my homeboy whose son is going through this. I was at that kid's birthday parties. I was at that kid's baby shower when he was still in his mom's stomach. I was at the baby shower, right? So like, damn, bro, like it hit me like a ton of bricks and it changed me. And that's what I mean about those moments, bro. Like there's these moments where you're like si no era por la camarita esta, I wouldn't have changed. I wouldn't have evolved again, because that shit made me evolve, because I have children. And you start to think like, coño, God forbid, bro, God forbid, but it could be mine, right? And it makes you have, so it opens like a web of shit, right? Because now you start to find yourself in a little bit more of appreciation of life and the life you live. I mean, that's where my brain goes to. Like I immediately go to, oh, gratitude, thank you, papacito, thank you. So like, you know, there's those types of things that are happening that they only happen when I'm with my camera, you know? And they vary from different things. A few years ago, I was shooting a pilot for a food show on a boat. And I was in the Pacific Northwest off of the coast of fucking Orca Island. And I flew drone and followed orcas. Like in the middle of the ocean while they were like chasing salmon and shit. Like, and I'm flying the drone, like chasing orcas, right? And like even there at that moment, I'm like, I would never, I'm a kid from Alapata, bro, that used to have dreadlocks and gold teeth and drive donks, right? And here I am in the middle of the fucking Pacific Northwest flying a drone on the J-Pod, you know, protected orcas. And like, again, another moment where you're like, it changes you. Because now, like being from a concrete jungle to witness wildlife in its, all of a sudden, I didn't want to fucking litter anymore or anything, right? Like, I don't know, cuz like, I'm keeping it a buck, right? Like, now I want to like protect everything. And I think that for me, the journey's been that. The journey was never about the art that I want you to see. The journey's always been about the art that I want to make. And if you see it, that's a byproduct. But it's just me. I want to do what I want to do. I wanted to film workers, so I did.
And it's crazy because like it's hard to tell somebody that, but like those moments is like they're worth more than any paycheck, and it's what gives you the like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I love this shit. Like you could pay me with a burrito, and I'd be here doing it no matter what, and it keeps fueling you.
It does, bro. It does. And I have these moments literally all the time. I had this moment 4 weeks ago in Los Angeles shooting for my client that I have over there. And I go to this kid's house who's like, I don't want to even say the artist's name, but he's a very, very popular young artist, millions of followers, super popping. The guy was super nice. And I'm here capturing his come up. And like, yo, mom makes us homemade enchiladas with the green sauce. And she's like, no, camera crew can't leave. You guys got to come in here and eat with us. And I ate with his mom and his dad and his friends. And we ate homemade enchiladas. And this kid's super sweet kid, dog, an amazing young man. And I thought to myself, 5 years from now, right, when he's like on top of the world, winning Grammys and all kinds of stuff, I'm always going to remember the day that I sat at his house and had enchiladas with him and his mom. Right. So, and I pointed out these 3 crazy moments, right? From like Junior to like me being on the boat to then that little intimate, sweet moment of eating some enchiladas, right? But for me, those are those moments, bro. I had never had homemade Mexican food from anybody. And here I am in Tremendo Rancho in California with an artist who's super nice, and his mom just made us some, and they were the best enchiladas I ever had, bro.
I think it goes back to what you were saying, that it's like you're jumping out of a plane with a parachute. You don't know where you're going to land, but then when you land in like these situations, it's like, damn, I'm like, I took that jump, that risk, and look where I landed. So it feels like, wow, I'm supposed to be doing this, or like grateful.
For sure. 100%. That's the first thing that I always refer to, like, appreciation.
Yeah.
Like, that's like my default.
Yeah. Nah, and it's easy to...
like, some people get into, like, bad situations, and then they're like, why me? And I get into situations, and I'm like, damn, I'm blessed because it could have gone that way.
Yeah.
And instead, I stayed here. So I do believe that anything in life, whether you're doing what I do or doing what you do or doing anything, like, it's all about perspective, bro. It's really all about perspective. You can be fucking walking down the street comiéndote un pedacito de pan and complaining because all you have is pan, and when you turn around and look back, there's 5 people picking up the crumbs off the floor that you're dropping, that you're complaining about. Right? So life's really all about perspective, dog.
No, 100%. I mean, I caught myself going through that the last couple of weeks. Is me and wifey have been looking for a house, and you know how things are, whatever.
It's hard
and
right now.
It's hard, right? But then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, but I could do it. You know, you run the numbers, whatever. But then you go out there, you start seeing houses, and you're like, bro, whatever. And then you start getting, like, I was getting that mindset of like, oh, but I would have bought a house back then, and like this and that. And then, bro, something just clicked that I was like, bro, but like, look what you're doing. Like, you wake up every day and do whatever you want.
Right.
You live in an apartment in Coral Gables, like you
looking for a house to move into.
Like, and then you see everything going on, and you're like, bro, these people don't even have food. They're trying to find a shelter. Like all the things going on in the world, and you're here complaining because like the taxes are too high on that house.
Right.
The HOA. Look at that. How dare they?
How dare they?
And I'm like in a fucking apartment with my kid and my wife.
That's the feeling that I got. That same feeling of appreciation and how you just mentioned it was when I finished Never Give Up and I watched it on like my living room in my house for like the first time. Like after watching it, I felt like I have nothing to complain about. Right? I just watched this 10-year-old boy beat this and just his attitude and everything. And it makes you really like start to appreciate what you do have. So I'm glad that, you know, you say that and you went through that, because really that's what it is, bro. Te estás quejando because of, you know, the first world problems that you're having.
Yeah, literally. And
right?
it's things that you just have in your head, like, oh, I'm supposed to do that. This is what's next or whatever. But it's like, bro, we live in a world that nothing's guaranteed. Like, who cares? You
know, another thing I was gonna say was like something that an advantage that you have also is time and patience, right? So something that I've learned in the past probably, 5-6 years more than anything has been patience, right? I think as an entrepreneur, as a hustler, go-getter that I am, I'm always making it myself. I'll do it. I'll make it. I'll figure it out. But I've come to realize a lot of times that patience is one of the sharpest tools that you can have in your, you know what I'm saying, in your arsenal. Why? Because right now maybe it's not a good time to buy a house. But you know what it is a good time to have right now? Patience, right? Because it's got to change.
Right.
At some point, it's got to change. Or we can sit here and have this discussion as to whether it's changing next 6 months or 18 months. I don't know. I don't care. But it's got to change. It can't stay where it's at right forever. Todo mundo se está quejando. So it's got to change. How does that benefit you? Because you can have patience. And you can say, okay, cool. Now's not the time. Lo que voy a hacer, voy a seguir ahorrando dinero. I'm going to keep building up. And maybe a year from now when it's time, maybe that $500,000 house you were looking at, maybe a year from now you're looking at $800,000 houses because you were able to get more money. In other words, the universe will find a way to right, to reward you for your patience. And I think that patience I think it's one of the most like underestimated fucking tools that you can have in your toolbox. Patience. And patience helps you make better decisions because it gives you time to think about stuff. It makes you non-reactive, right? Which I know, most of us can probably use that for a little bit, right? But yeah, man, patience, bro. Patience helps you with a lot of stuff, bro.
I have it tatted on my wrist, paciencia, because I gotta remind myself.
So I have Ifa. I'm a babalao, and my sign, el signo mío is Obeyono, which is Obesuru, and Suru is Yoruba for patience. So patience was born in el signo mío de Ifa. So yeah, like patience is a daily thing for me. When I pray every day, my children pray with me every day, and we always pray for 3 things. We don't pray for money. We don't pray for nothing like that. We pray for patience. We pray for health. We pray for wisdom. That's what me and my kids pray for every day. We prayed that 2 hours ago before I came over here. And I think it's super important, bro, because con un poquito paciencia, you can really figure your way through the madness of whatever it is that you're trying to figure out. And you need paciencia. You need wisdom too to know how to make those decisions. But the wisdom no te ayuda sin la paciencia. Y la paciencia no te hace nada sin un poquito de wisdom.
I feel like you have a lot of wisdom and you have
I probably do. Bro, I'm 45 years old.
Yeah.
I've been doing this.
Look young, man.
Thank you, bro. Creativity, bro. Keeps you young, bro.
That's true.
It really does. I'm not sitting in an office jalándome los pelos thinking about...
You're energized.
Yeah, 100%. Always.
But like you have like the wisdom, but you're also like you said, you're never really upset. You're always relaxed, chill. What do you have like a routine that kind of keeps you in that? Because I mean, we can't always just be like happy-go-lucky.
I smoke a lot of weed. I really do. I am an avid cannabis consumer, and not just any cannabis either. I like the good stuff. I like that Cali stuff, and I like the name brand breeders and all that stuff. So, but no, I think for me it's just perspective, dog. I do have a routine, right? Like, so I got into fitness about 1.5 years ago. I was having stomach issues. I was a little overweight. Again, perspective. I landed in the hospital, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because from there my life changed. I landed back in the hospital again, and I ended up getting an operation and everything, and they removed like 4 inches of my colon. So, that was a pretty big deal. But all that normally somebody would be like, "Oh, your life sucks right now." I looked at that like a great opportunity to get my health back on track and to get into fitness. So now, if there's ever been a routine, the routine is definitely now, right? Like, it's non-negotiable. In the mornings, I'm going to go work out. It's non-negotiable. In the mornings, I'm going to eat a certain way. I allow myself, room to have my other meals. But, man, I'm down 22, 23 pounds in a little bit over a year. It's been slow and steady. It wasn't I'm not doing the Ozempic stuff and none of that. Like, oye, yo de verdad me estoy en el gimnasio. I see it. I feel it. And that is... I wish I would have discovered health and fitness earlier. But yeah, bro, like if anything, that's part of my routine. And I love it. I put my headphones on. I'm listening to, I don't know, Joe Rogan or whatever the hell I'm listening to. And yeah, because I'm not really listening to that much music. I'm usually listening to a podcast or whatever. And bro, for some reason, that gives me like, it's like baseline for me. Like reset. Every morning I do that. I did that before coming here.
Yeah,
you know?
it's super important, bro. And I think like I've always been to health and fitness, but then even then, like you start like, oh, let me put that at the bottom of the list because I got to do these other things. But once you get on a routine, you do it, especially in the morning. It's like, bro,
that's why I said non-negotiable.
You have to, because it makes you feel so much better, and your day is like, oh, I already tackled that. Like, let's go. And I think,
and non-negotiable too is like making the bed.
Oh yeah.
Like that's non-negotiable, right? Like either I do it or my wife does it, but like yo, we make the bed, go to the gym.
Yeah.
Cause like, okay, that's how we started the day. Coño, we're already off to a good start.
Yeah. And I think a lot of creatives, especially that, they don't come from like a large percentage probably they didn't come up playing sports or like they're not athletic. So there's just like, oh, that's like, yeah, whatever. I'll like go to the gym when I can. But it's like, I mean, everyone in whatever you do is like, bro, it's so important because it does feed your creativity. Like in the gym, I'm always like, oosh, that would be dope. I'm like, or I'm doing the last set. I'm like, oh, bro, let me text him this because I just thought of this. And it's like being in the shower because you're not really thinking, but you're thinking.
Yeah, you are. You are thinking.
Yeah.
You're thinking probably way more better than before. Yeah, 100%. So and like when I travel, like that's okay. So like if I'm gone for 4 days, like 2 days I gotta work out. Minimum, half the time. I get it. If I'm shooting from 9 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night, I might not work out in the morning because I need to do stuff or whatever. But travel day, you gotta work out. Travel day coming in, you gotta work out. It's just like non-negotiable, and that's like the one thing that like has definitely kept me like, I don't know, sane at this point.
Oh, for sure. I
recently found a guilty pleasure. So we got an Oculus, the VR.
Oh yeah.
So we got one of those at the house for the kids, whatever. There's a stupid ass game on there that I play all the time that I love. Instead of jugando un jueguito en el teléfono, algo así, I throw on the Oculus and there's this game. It's called Population 1. It's kind of like Fortnite. But you're in VR, you can like see everything. You got the different guns. And bro, like after like a solid 6-hour editing session where I'm like,
oh yeah, that's the best.
Like, yeah, I'm like, okay, I need a break. I'll go put the thing on and I'll play for like maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
2 or 3 games. But like just killing, I don't know, and working with a team and just moving, like, shit makes me feel good. And that's like my little guilty.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Like, I don't really play, like, I don't intentionally play video games, but I have a PS5. But like every now and then I'll hit a point where I'm like,
I need it.
I just need to fucking sit and like go with my fucking SEAL Team 6 into Call of Duty and pretend I'm like a fucking special forces and like kill some people and then clock back out. And like
something else that I do too is like, in the travel sometimes, like I'll make it a point to give myself a day to explore wherever I'm at.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So like recently when we was in LA, the producers, the girls, they call me Dora the Explorer because they're like, yo, the moment you get here, like we'll do our production meeting or whatever, and then like, yo, I'm off. Déjame tranquilo. I'm walking around. I'm going to the dispensary. I went to the ice cream shop. I went here. Oh, look, I found a great sushi place if you guys want to eat later. And they're like, oh, hey, Dora, like...
But that stuff gives you perspective.
I mean, I don't know. I like that. And then I do that in other countries as well. Like, for example, I have a trip coming up now where I'll be going with the Palm Pirate. I'll be going back to Japan with him to film koi fish and stuff like that. And like, yeah, I'll film koi fish for like 4 days. But like, yo, day 5 and 6, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm off the clock.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go explore and I want to go see shit. And I've already been to Japan a few times, so like I know how to get around. I know más o menos what's what. So
and all that stuff gives you perspective, and then you come back with like a little mind shift of like, man, they do shit a little different there. Or this guy did that in the little restaurant. It was just 2 of them. Like sometimes you think you need to have a fancy Miami restaurant in like Coconut Grove. And then like in Japan, you see like two little, just a chef and his waitress in like
Yeah.
a little hole in the wall, and they're
And-
loving life.
And they're loving life. Why? Well, they do things out of integrity and passion.
Yeah, you
They
can see it.
You can see it, and that's everywhere over there. I think that's probably one of the things that we lack most in this country.
Oh,
I
for
love my
sure.
country, bro. I love being an American, bro. I really do, bro. But I feel like we've lost a certain level of integrity. And and something else that I feel too is that we've lost a certain level of pride in our work. You know, even when I worked at Turkey Point or before that, when I was working with my uncle, you know, putting together tuna towers and welding and stuff like that, like there was always like, you're proud of your work, right? Like un carpintero that does, you know, your walls and puts your trim up and everything. Like it's important to him that those corners are perfect. It's important that like when I worked with my uncle, those welds looked nice and they were painted. There was a sense of pride in your work. And I even remember being a kid and going to restaurants and like meeting waiters that were proud of their work. And I feel like we've lost that. I feel like very rarely are people proud of what they do. And I think that that's a dangerous kind of thing, you know?
I feel like everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people are like on that checkbox, like, okay, like, let me just get that thing done. Or like, you're paying me to do this. I got it done. Like, and I think with social media and everything, everyone's more like a little bit more entitled, where it's like, oh, you want me to do that? Or like, you want me to give you my input? Like, nah, it's like 10x more or whatever. It's like, or people, maybe they're not as proud because they're like, oh, I can't show off being a waiter on Instagram. Like, that's whatever. Where it's like, bro, you could be the best waiter in the city if you like, you're that passionate about it. And that's a thing now. If you
But I think you should get over that.
Yeah.
I think you should get over that because, listen, bro, if everybody's on the field, then who's watching the game? Right? And let's be real, not all of us are meant to be on the field. Some of us are gonna be a waiter, dog. Like, and it's cool. I think you should embrace that. Right? I think it's cool. Like, I've embraced what I've embraced, and you might say, oh, that's cool. Right? But a Hollywood cinematographer DP that lives in Beverly Hills looks at me and goes, ugh,
yeah,
what are you? Right?
I love that.
So it's like, just fucking be you and be proud. I'm very proud. I used to get acomplejado around cinematographers, but then I said, hold on, bro. Hold on. This ain't 10 years ago no more. My first movie that I made, I shot the majority of it on a Sony 6300, bro. And the shit won me 5 awards in different film festivals. And you've been shooting on an Alexa, no sé canto, you know, shooting movies and this, that, and the third. And you don't even have your own movie that's yours. Because you've been shooting everybody else's movies. So, I don't know. I just use that as an example. But like, I don't know, bro. Like, be proud. Don't let your lack of acomplejarte, because your lack, again, it's all about perspective. Your lack of to the guy behind you is, wow, look where he's at. Because I have people that look at me all the time and tell me, yo, how can I do what you do? How can do you need help? That's probably the biggest question I get all the time. Can I help you? Can I go with you? You need an assistant? Like, yeah, of course I need an assistant. But you ain't gonna put in the work that I'm gonna put in.
Right.
You're not gonna do it.
Nah, I think that's so true. Like, you know, we talk about imposter syndrome and all that and those insecurities, but it's about perspective. Like, you know, for a long time I'd be doing graphic design, but I would always keep it on the low. And then like I was like, oh, but I'm not like a legit graphic designer. I really don't know what to do. Like, I didn't go to school for this. Like, I'm on YouTube University, so like, you know, yeah, I'll help the homies out, but like, I'm not I'll never claim that. But then it's like what you said. Then a couple years ago, I'm like, my mind was just like, bro, I've made like a decent amount of money doing this, not trying. So
why not try?
Why not try it?
Yeah,
Why not be proud of it? Why not tell people, yo, man, if you ever need help, like, I love helping people and creating and helping their business. Like, let me not hide it. And then yeah, it's the same shit. Then you see people asking, like, they'll ask me, like, bro, how did you do that? Or like, what's that? Oh, yo, that's dope. I love that. Or like the other day, this guy was asking me, like, yo, how can I do that with my photos? Like, I didn't know you could. And then it reminds you, like, bro, not everyone has to be like this thing that is traditionally looked at as successful or the proper title, or like senior head graphic designer that went to XYZ school. It's like, yeah, that's cool. Like that's awesome that you do that, but I do this, and this like
Right.
this is how I do it, and I like it.
And ultimately, there's not much of a difference between you and those people, right? Like, I didn't go to school for filmmaking. I have none of that stuff. YouTube University started off with DSLRs. And one of my proudest achievements was when Never Too Late, which was the film about Yuli becoming a fighter at a late age. But when that film won a few awards, I said to myself, yo, I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Right? Like, a part of me wanted to feel that. Like, I wanted to say that. Like, yo, I don't like the word videographer. Right? I don't like it. The word videographer means is somebody that stands there and hits record and just records what he's being told to record. I don't know. I think there's levels above that, right? You know, but like a part of me was like, damn, I'm a videographer for the most part. And then when I did that movie, I said, well, hold on a second. Am I a videographer or am I a filmmaker? Because I actually got a film. Because I know guys that do bigger projects than me, that have bigger budgets with bigger artists and bigger this and bigger that, but they don't have their own movie. I got my own movie. Granted, if I shot it with a $2,000 camera now, it's irrelevant. It looks good and won awards. I knew how to tell a story. So I got over that complejo, bro. Like, right now, like, I believe that all of us should just own our shit, bro. Just own it, bro. You are what you are. It's 2024, bro. Like, I feel like we're in one of the most exciting times in life ever, dog. Like, you can really be whatever the fuck you want to be. You could really do whatever the hell it is.
And
you
get
want
paid
to do
for it.
And get paid for it.
You
There's a
can
market
get
for
paid
everything.
for being you, essentially.
There's a market for everything. There really is. And I think that's what keeps me kind of going, right? That, like, I guess technically, could I go get a $30 an hour videographer job at Fulano's dentist in Hialeah and just do their little videos and reels? I guess. Yeah. That's cool. No hate. You want to do that, go ahead and do it. But I want to jump out of a fucking airplane every day with no parachute. You feel me? Every day. Because I can make $3,000 an hour, right? And be way happier at the end of the day.
And it's your project.
And it's my project.
Your ideas.
And my ideas. Yeah. Like, I think that's probably what separates me from my peers. I own IP. Always. Don't get me wrong. I do jobs that I have to do jobs for. That's for the client. I shot this. I gave you that. I directed, produced, whatever. But all the other shit that you see from me that I post, that's my IP. I own La Hama, right? I own Whipping in the Kitchen. These movies that I mentioned, I own them. The sizzles that I've created for other shows, I own them. The stuff you saw me shooting yesterday, I own a piece of. Right? So, like, that's probably the difference between me and, like, my peers. I'm all about intellectual property and owning it. You know? Because I didn't get into this shit to just work for you.
Yeah.
I didn't get into this video, film shit just to film, to do everything for a bunch of other people that got a little more money than me.
No, and I think it's important because it also, you have more skin in the game. It's like, now it's you're part of something, like you own it. It's not just you're doing a job, which even sometimes the deal can be like you're getting paid less, but you own all of it, or you own part of it, but
which I do a lot of.
Right, but then down the line, that ownership is worth a lot more than, you wanted the quick check, the quick bag.
I'll take a 60% pay cut from my normal rate, 70% at times, but I'll own a higher percentage of whatever it is that I'm working on.
Yeah, I think that's super important.
And if there's anything that I learned from the most, the best businessmen that I've ever learned from is like, yo, you got to get a piece of everything, right? So that's how I look at it with my stuff. You want to film something? You want to do a documentary? Or you want to do a show? You want to film a sizzle? No worries, no doubt. This is my price and this is my percentage. Because with me comes the ideas. I don't know how to just go shoot what you want me to shoot. Right? You can't just sit here and tell me, oh, just shoot this and shut up. Don't say, I can't. You got the wrong guy.
I can't even see you.
You got the wrong guy.
Okay, next.
No, you got the wrong guy. I need to throw ideas around. I need to talk about it. And I need to feel this this level of excitement. If your heart's not beating like that while you're creating, then what the fuck are we doing, bro?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And even on the flip side, I think I've learned to also not be afraid to give up that percentage or equity for someone that obviously is going to bring value, but help you get it to that next step, or collaborate, because then now you're both invested, and it's like, yo, okay, yeah, you deserve that, but let's kick it up to the next level if we're gonna do it. So
I have a thing that I'm like, I don't like to fall in love with things that I create. So that's like a rule of mine. I don't fall in love with anything that I create. Me explico? I don't know, bro. We create a podcast right now between me and you, and it's great and it's awesome. And somebody loves it and they want to buy it and sponsor it. Great. But then, just as fast as I created this with you, I'll go create something else. So I can never fall in love with anything that I do, because I understand that once I create it, it's not mine anymore in that sense, right? It's going to either grow its own legs and go where it's going to go, or it's going to stay stagnant and bury itself in the ground. I don't know. But that's not on me, right? I worry about the creation part. And whatever happens after that, that's on that. With that being said, no me enamoro, because I'll give you an example. We have a show, me and Chef Frankie, called La Hama TV, where we go around and we eat street food. And there was a time when La Hama TV was really on the table, with some of these really big streamers to really get picked up. We were very close to getting picked up. And one of the things was like, yo, the name though, La Hama, it's way too Spanish, right? Mind you, I have logos for this, animations. I've been posting for over a year. I have, a few thousand subscribers, nothing crazy. But damn, bro, I put a lot of work into this shit. And they wanted to change the name. And you know what I said? Yeah. Who gives a fuck? Because I'm not in love. It's just a name. Tan rápido how I came up with La Hama, I came up with Whip It in the Kitchen, I don't know, bro. I'm a fucking creator, cuz. Like, for real. Yo no estoy que ni TikTok. No, I'm a content creator. Shut the fuck up. You're not a content creator. You're a fucking phone holder. I create. I think of stuff. I have to inventar, And with that being said, it's like, I don't know, cuz, like, you got to take this shit seriously, You gotta really take it seriously. I don't know. I kind of went off tangent a little bit there.
No, but I think that's the beauty about being a creative, in the sense where it's like you're not really worried about the idea or the project, because, like you said, like, yo, I'm gonna, like, going back to how you started, like, yo, I'm rapping, right? But you know what? Now I want to make videos, and like, I think when you have that mindset as a creative, it's like, bro, I think of like, it gives me less stress. Because I'm like, not only I know maybe I can pivot into doing something else, but like, it's exciting. Like, bro, in 10 years, I don't know. I always talk about like, maybe I open up like a martial arts school and it's like this and like that. And we have this and like, I don't know. But like, I like the fact that I don't know, but I know that I'll be able to do something. So, but I'm not like, oh, for the next 30 years, I'm working at a power plant.
Bro, some people are super scared of that shit. That what you just described right now to the normal 9-to-5ers, that scares the fucking bejesus out of them, bro.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it took me a while to be comfortable with that, but now I perspective, I'm like, bro, that's amazing. Like, I got like a nest egg with money saved in the bank. I'm generating income with everything I do. And imagine, bro, I'm doing things that, like, if I explain to people, like, they don't, like, I don't understand. To a normal person, what's to say I can't do that somewhere else, or start this project, or start another podcast, or do this, or like, so it's like almost, it is scary, but it's exciting. It's like jumping out of a plane, parachute.
No parachute, puppy.
No parachute, exactly.
All you have is a book bag with some shoes, a paddle, and some fake wings, dog. You're either gonna fly, run, skip, jump. I don't know, but you'll figure it out when you get there, cuz.
I love that.
And like, ultimately, talking about what we're saying, right? Like, ultimately, like, come on, bro. Like, when you really fucking boil it down, I'm 45. Let's say you're 45. You've been working at the bank since you were 20. You got 401k, compraste la casa. You've done it all. And me, kind of done it all like that, my own way. Little different, maybe not the same nest egg, maybe not the 401k, maybe not all that, right? And tomorrow, we both die. didn't mean a fucking thing. It didn't mean a fucking thing. Okay, is your family gonna be taken care of? Yeah, cool. Hay una casa, hay un este. In essence, you're doing it for something bigger than yourself. So you give up who you are to try to provide stability, security for the other people behind you, right? Where for me, I gotta find a way to do both. I gotta make myself happy, but I still gotta leave legacy for you guys, right? And legacy is not more important than my happiness. And I hear this a lot. A lot of these gurus, these, business guys and everything, like for a lot of people, it's all about legacy.
Yeah.
And that's cool, bro. That's cool. Legacy's great. But when you're gone, van a hablar mierda de ti de todas maneras.
Man, they're going to forget.
They're going to forget. They're going to use that money. They're going to blow that money. It's all irrelevant when a la hora la verdad. So I look at it like, I'd rather make myself happy. My happiness comes first. And then legacy's next to my happiness. But legacy's not first. For me, happiness is first because me being happy means my kids are happy right now. I'm not worrying about their fucking happiness 20 years from now, right? Like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen 20 years from now, right? But right now is a point that yo tengo contento right now and they have everything they need right now. So I feel in essence, and I'm still working on it, but I found this like happy medium where like, I do what I want, I make money, my kids love me, I have a beautiful wife who loves me, supports me. I don't know, I have a house, got a nice car, got some money in the bank, got some cool friends. Pablo, I don't know, bro. I'm pretty blessed. I'm pretty blessed, dog.
Man, it's literally when you say it like that, it's like, what else? What else do you need?
Right? What else do you need? Could you have more? Sure. And that's on you, bro. That's the beauty of life. You might want more than me. But I'd be really happy con tremenda casa on the coast of Costa Rica with my kids there. Like, I don't know. I would love to do something like that. I would love to live a life like that. I'm simple in that sense. I think that shit's cool. Some people don't. Some people want la locura.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'll leave you with this last question. What does creativity mean to you?
Oh, man. You already know, dog. This has been the reoccurring theme, bro. Freedom. Freedom to evolve. Creativity is the freedom to evolve. It's the freedom to grow. Because creativity is that medium in which we learn who we are and what we can be because we're free to evolve. I know that shit sounds crazy, bro. It's deep. But it's the realest shit I've ever fucking said, bro.
I felt it, bro.
Don't be
Pause.
Don't be fucking scared. Yeah, pause, right? Don't be scared, bro. Fucking don't be scared, bro. Jump out of the airplane. Fuck the parachute. You'll learn how to fly on the way down. I promise you. You'll be surprised how quick you can grow wings.
I love that, bro. Well, yo, I appreciate you
Thank
coming
you, bro.
through. Make sure to plug your Instagram, all your YouTube, all the shit coming out, or don't,
Bro,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
You're going to find me. But shout out to Cultura Media House. Shout outs to everybody on the Super Funny Show that we're working on. My Instagram is Soflaa, SOFL, with 3 A's. Like South Florida, 3 A's. And yeah, bro. La Hama TV, Whipping in the Kitchen, Cultura Media House, Super Funny Show. It's a whole lot of legacy coming, baby.
I love it, bro.
Other
Thank
side.
you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.